Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, football fans of all ages. This is Tim May along with
Bill Rabinowitz.
Bill. Here you go. Illinois is just days away. Ohio State's last home game in the shoe. That's one way of billing it. Urban Meyer is yet to really bill it anything. He's continued his diatribe of making this one practice at a time, one play at a time, getting ready for the Fighting Illini coming in. As we all know, the seniors will take their last ceremonial run onto the field on Saturday. I think it's, 18 of them, 19 of them. And it'll be a big moment for them to begin the game. And when the game is over and the day is over, it could be a big moment for Ohio State, because if Wisconsin beats Michigan on Saturday, Ohio State will clinch the Big Ten East Division Championship, clinching a spot in the Big Ten Championship game. But, of course, as always, with you and I, we're putting the cart before the horse.
That's right. Let's talk playoffs.
Actually, go ahead.
Let's talk playoffs. Look, yeah. Ohio State is, I think, a 38-point favorite against Illinois. They should handle the Illini. They're starting, I think, 16 freshmen. They're building for the future. Their future is not now for them. They know, I mean, look, unless something really strange happens, Ohio State's going to win this game fairly comfortably. The playoff, though, they need style points. They can't just win this game. They've got to look good, because everything is an audition for that committee. And I think number 9, which is where they are now, is actually a pretty good spot for Ohio State, because a lot of those teams ahead of them are going to lose. They are behind Notre Dame, and Notre Dame doesn't have a potential championship game to play in. So I think they're actually sitting fairly pretty.
Well, I definitely do. I mean, I'm sticking by my assessment that if Ohio State wins out, which is the first if,
sure,
and if Alabama wins out, the second big if, and takes care of Georgia and Auburn along the way, and if Miami wins out, takes care of Clemson, and Oklahoma wins out, that Ohio State is in. I mean, I just see the path clearly, but all of that has to happen. See, to me, that's not chaos. That's just the teams probably they're supposed to win are going to win, with the exception of some people may debate whether Clemson should be favored over Miami or vice versa. But, yeah, I think the path is clear if things fall the way they should. But as we know in college football, that often is not the case.
Right. And Clemson, I think Clemson might, they've got a case, because they've got a lot of quality wins. And depending on, if they lose to Miami, whether it's a really close game, that's going to be an interesting call for the committee. But again, we are jumping ahead.
I think you reward the team, though, that's playing the best at the end of the year. If Ohio State runs the table and beats Illinois, wins at Michigan in its rivalry game, and then beats Wisconsin, which could be undefeated going into that game and ranked number 4 in the college football playoff rankings, because that would be a quality win they'd get this week over right at this moment a ranked Michigan team. I don't see Clemson's. I see Clemson's resume right now stacking up, but I don't see it stacking up at the end of the year.
That's what's going to be great about this. If we get there, again, it is all predicated on ifs, and what Ohio State is intent on. I mean, their thing right above us is intent focus. They are not thinking about anything but the moment right now, which is smart for them. But, we don't have to do that. They have to do that.
Yeah. In a microcosm real quick, I mean, my thoughts about this game haven't changed. I think Illinois is a little bit underrated in some people's minds. They're looking at their production offensively and not seeing that this is a team that's played pretty good defense against most everybody they played this year. They've got a really aggressive front, especially front 4, which plays a little bit differently than Michigan State's did. Michigan State runs a lot of twists, stunts, things like that. Illinois kind of lines up under the Lovie-Smith method or scheme and just kind of comes right at you. And they've played pretty well. And as Urban Meyer said repeatedly this week, they've got a couple of defensive tackles that could play for anybody. I agree with that when you watch them on video. Offensively, they definitely have struggled. They're definitely challenged. We're not even sure who the starting quarterback is going to be on Saturday. It could be Jeff George Jr. That name I know rings a bell with folks. Could be another kid who's a dual threat. I mean, who actually can play, has shown the ability to make some plays. But like you said, they are young. The future is not necessarily now for them, but you can kind of see it a little bit around the corner, can't you?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, like you said, they've been respectable in most games. They've not given them 30 points in the last 4 games. They've held teams in the 20s. So,
correct.
And they also haven't faced an offense like I think Ohio State's going to pose to them. So I take that with a grain of salt. But
a little bit of pepper.
And the other kind of wild card in this is
cayenne pepper.
It's supposed to rain and be windy, and that's an equalizer.
You mean like in Nebraska?
Yeah, well, okay, maybe not. Yeah. But, if you're Illinois, you're thinking anything that would kind of upset the apple cart a little bit and make things a little bit more iffy.
That's what's always intrigued me, though. You would think, why would that make Ohio State worse and Illinois better? I've always been intrigued by that. It doesn't,
but just uncertainty.
Idea. But what it does do is it usually in your mind, it kind of falls to the team you think with the better running attack, and without a doubt Ohio State has that. I mean, they've got a three-headed monster now with Mike Weber, J.K. Dobbins, and J.T. Barrett. I mean, back there running. I'm interested to see what they try to do on offense on Saturday, where the evolution goes now when they finally put in a draw play. Draw play used to be the staple.
Run,
I mean, we had a peewee team. I mean, a neighborhood team. We had a draw play. You know what I mean? But boom, Ohio State discovered it last week, and it went 82 yards.
How about a normal screenplay, not a bubble screen, wide receiver screen, just a normal screen? I think Ohio State fans have talked about that for about 50 years.
Yeah, like the cayenne pepper. There seems to be a lot of things in the pantry if they want to pull them out, But we'll see. But, we'll be back after the game on Saturday, and after the dust settles, both in Columbus and Madison, to see where Ohio State stands, whether it has clinched, in fact, a spot in the Big Ten championship game. And no matter what, though, the game is coming up next week with Michigan, and it'll be all hands on deck from the standpoint of it will be, if Ohio State gets by Illinois, it will make the game huge, as it always is, but in this case there'll be a lot on the table for Ohio State.
Yeah, absolutely, and obviously for Michigan too. I mean, the playoffs, they actually still have a mathematical chance for it. But more importantly for them, I think Jim Harbaugh wants to beat Ohio State. That's, he has not beaten the rivals that he needs to beat. And I think, next week, this is the appetizer. Let's not kid ourselves. Yeah. Next week will be fun.
And past this, if Ohio State beats Illinois and Michigan beats Wisconsin, the Big Ten East Division berth in the Big Ten Championship game will be up for grabs in Ann Arbor. So all kinds of things could make this a very intriguing finish to the Ohio State football season. But the bottom line is, Bill and I have both spoken about, Ohio State definitely has a lot to play for. Nobody saw this maybe 2 weeks ago. I thought they would fall totally off the radar. They're a blip.
Yeah, I mean, after Iowa, I remember driving back from Iowa City to Moline, and we're like, season's over. For all intents and purposes, they could play for a Big Ten championship, but other than that, season's over. And here we are. That's college football.
While we were in Moline, well, ladies and gentlemen, that's a podcast unto itself. But we'll be back to talk about, like I said, to talk about the Ohio State-Illinois game, to talk about the ramifications of what happens in Madison this week. We'll do that on Saturday night, maybe early Sunday. But until then, this is Tim May
and Bill Rabinowitz. Thanks for watching.